You could say Miss Conine has been a member of the Picap family her entire life. Her father, the late John C. Watkins, was the Archon at the University of Alabama in the 1940s. Many years later, Miss Conine was honorary house mother for the Beta Omicron chapter here at NSU in the mid-2000s. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and guests, please join me in welcoming tonight's keynote speaker, Ms. Frances Conine.
My goal tonight is to share with you some of the things that I've learned in my life and some of the things that I believe. And at the end of this, just remember, you ask. I don't pretend that I'm here just because I'm smarter or harder working. While I don't discount hard work and achievement, I also attribute much to opportunity. To tell the story of opportunity, I think it helps to put our lives in perspective. Although many Americans live in poverty, most of us live better than 20% of the rest of the world, and many of us are in the top 5 or 10%. These worldwide statistics seem to be improving, so the good news is opportunity is growing. Still, I'm going to play the game of opportunity and the game of reducing the world to a population of 100. And this is probably not new to you. You've probably heard it before. But if the world were just 100 people, only 17 of us could read and write, and the overwhelming majority of us would be men. 50 would live on less than $2 American a day, 20 on less than $1 American a day, 23 would have no shelter, 15 would be undernourished. You get the picture. We're living better than most of the people in the world. For this, I have learned to be grateful. I try every day to count my blessings. I have never really known hunger. I live in the greatest country in the world, where the Constitution guarantees me some pretty good rights. I live in a safe neighborhood. I own a car. I didn't have to worry about dying in childbirth. And, most importantly, I have always known that I was loved. And I'm going to come back to love later in this talk. To paraphrase St. Luke in the New Testament, he says something like, "To those whom much is given, much is required." Now, this is a Christian statement. And Christians make up about 1/3 of our village 100. And the other great religions, Islam, Hindu, Buddhism, makes up about another 1/3 of our village. So I'm just putting it in perspective. But St. Luke's statement is one of service. And to me, it is unifying and uplifting that all great religions believe that the divine is manifest through mercy and compassion in service to others. Service is one of the great foundations of Pi Kappa Phi. I believe that finding purpose and passion through service to others is how we find ourselves and our definition of God. Does this mean that if we act good, and that good things are always going to happen to us? Not really. Life doesn't work that way. I kind of agree with Forrest Gump. Life really is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes bad things happen, and people you love will disappoint you. Personally, in a period of less than 2.5 years, I lost my father and mother-in-law to debilitating diseases, my baby sister to a tragic drowning death, and I almost lost my 23-year-old son to traumatic brain injury. Bad happens. It's how we manage the bad stuff that matters. If it brings us closer to others and to our God, then we've done well. I've also learned that just like life, we really can't control others. At a certain age, short of putting people in prison, It's almost impossible to control the behavior of others. I know this, of course, from working with college students for 35 years. What I have learned is that the best way to get people to act responsibly is to behave responsibly. And what am I talking about? Modeling good behavior. Leadership, another foundation of your brotherhood. So what does mentoring look like to me? Respect. Human dignity. In Laura Hillebrand's bestseller and major motion picture Unbroken, you may have seen it, she retells a true World War II story of a U.S. navigator and Olympian. And much of the story takes place in a Japanese POW camp. And here our hero, Louis, finds that not only do we deserve respect, we require it. And I'm going to quote Hildebrand. She says, "Dignity is as essential to human life as water, food, and oxygen. Without dignity, identity is erased." I encourage you to ask yourself, in your daily actions, are you promoting dignity with others? So what else does doing the right thing look like to me? Justice. Being fair. Not marginalizing any group because they are different from us. So, who lives in our village? The LGBT community, women, handicapped, the poor, people of different races, ethnicity, and religion. Remember, when we marginalize, we're always excluding somebody in our village. When we marginalize women, we exclude half of our village. Furthermore, if we marginalize any woman, we marginalize our mothers, our sisters, our aunts, our dates. When we marginalize people with different sexual orientation, we exclude 10 to 12% of our village. We are excluding maybe our brothers, our sisters, our cousins, our classmates, our teammates. So what else does doing the right thing look like to me? It means using the right language. Language is everything. Your colleagues, my friends in journalism, Lane and Doug, I think they would probably agree, words matter. In our village, only 9 of us speak English. I think the 9 of us who speak English are perhaps the poorest communicators in our village of 100.